another view from the van with Paul from Magpie 24/7. Driving strong opinions on everything Newcastle United. Magpie 24/7. By fans, for fans.
How is everybody doing? It is Paul from Magpie 24/7 with another view from the van. Hope everybody is a-okay. Yeah, at the moment we're being let off from the pain that is watching Bruce ball week in, week out. It is the international break at the moment, and hopefully pictures coming out from the club this week showing we've got to pray that they are going to be the saviours of this season. Obviously Callum Wilson back in training, ASM back in some sort of training. That's before they had some more days off, my yard. Get on to that in a minute. But yeah, we saw both of those back on the pitches, getting in the fitness work, trying to get as sharp as possible, ready for this game coming up against Spurs, which is another huge game in our battle for survival. Got to win at some time if we want to try and stay up. But yeah, great to see those two back on the training pitch. A little bit concerning that they're still having these days off. It's not like I said on the last video, it is not as if any of the rest of the team broke a bastard sweat against Brighton. So why they need days off is, well, it's absolutely beyond me. It makes no logical sense whatsoever. I would have worked them 10 times, 100 times as much as what I was working on them before, based upon the absolutely pitiful performance that the lads put up against Brighton. Absolutely complete and utter shit show. And I would be letting them know about it on no uncertain terms. But yeah, Bruce, after having them in for a day, let them have another 4 days off, 6 days off in total, I think it is, over the course of this international break. I think it's shocking, it's scandalous. And what's also bad is that nobody like a Lee Charnley or somebody in a position of power, yeah, I know everything's relative, has said anything about it. I know the club don't communicate with the fans, aka customers, and you expect that, but surely to God somebody at that club would be saying this is shit PR at best. It's dereliction of duties is what it really is. And no, it knocks me, because like I'm working 14-16 hours a day at the moment, out and about, we're moving house, moving business premises, all of that stuff. And then you've got a bunch of footballers who, let's face it, haven't been anywhere near good enough, regardless of whether the tactics, this, that and the other. But as a team, together, the coaching staff and the players have been absolutely fucking shite all bastard season. And you think that they try and do their all to make it right for the fans and right for the club and right for the city. But of course they don't. Yeah, I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised, but it was great to see them back out on the training pitches, albeit briefly. But you know, they're coming back shortly. They'll step up the preparations then for the Spurs game. Let's hope that's a little bit more than just chucking a few footballs from Sports Direct out on the training pitches and going, there you go lads, have yourself a kick around, because that to me is what's going on at the moment. There's no anything at the time when we need every possible avenue open to exploit. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. And I've gone beyond anger, gone beyond rage. I'm just so... I feel like I'm having the heart and guts ripped out of me by that fucking fanny face who's in charge of the football club, aka Cabbage Head himself. As much use as a bastard use wet wipe, Steve Bastard Bruce. I make no apologies at all. He's not a nice man. He's not this, he's not that, he's not the other. Disgusting. what he is overseeing. And the sooner that clown clears his desk and pisses back off to the next travelling in circus, the absolute better for me, you and everyone. Hey, they may make another new Home Alone. Do that! You were better at acting in Home Alone 2 than you ever were as Newcastle United manager, you complete and utter fanny face. So, yeah, we've got players coming back. We are going to need some big performances. We are going to need to ruffle some feathers. I think the last time we beat any of the traditional top 6 powerhouses was Spurs away. So we've got to hope that we can bring up and conjure up a little bit more magic against Tottenham Hotspur. They've not got a great deal to play for, because I don't see them sort of crashing into the Champions League places. The season is pretty much petering out for them, so hopefully we can take advantage of that. But I'm watching England there playing against Albania, wasn't it? And obviously Kane's notching, and I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, you can score a couple, but do us a favour, go off injured, go off getting knocked. And this is what Steve Bruce drags you down to. Wishing that England players get injured on international duty just so we don't have to play them. And if it's not that, it's we're looking at other teams' performances, other teams' results, etc, etc, etc. And it should not be this, like this. Newcastle United, and we're absolutely brought down to desperation stakes. That is what it is. It's desperation stakes at Newcastle United. And obviously the big survey come out today. Most fans, more than not, 90-ish%, believing that Newcastle will be relegated if we remain under that absolute galah. Steve Bruce can't disagree with it. 95% want him removed. The other 5% must be goddamn Mackems. Because I do not believe in a month of Sundays that you can find 5% of any Newcastle supporters. Not even Mrs. Bruce, when asked, said, yes, oh, he's doing a cracking job, you need to keep him as manager. Even Mrs. Bruce said that he should be sacked, he should leave, he should not be the manager, head coach, or whatever of Newcastle United. It's as simple as that. Now, if Mrs. Bruce is saying that, then surely to God, I mean, the only thing she can be interested in, clearly, is not having him under her own bloody feet, because he must be an annoying bastard to live with. If he's anything like his manager persona at home, I pity her. I really do pity her. But she's probably hanging on thinking, well, there's £4 million. I'm sure we can use that towards something. And it needs to be his last job in football. Football has evolved. Football has developed past jumpers for goalposts and chuck a ball in the middle. Go on, lads. We'll go for a pint and a kebab after the game. It has moved on from there. The developments, the sports scientists, the this, the that, the other, have moved on, and Steve Bruce has not. So this needs to be his last job in the game. And I wouldn't wish Steve Bruce on my worst bastard enemy. Well, yeah, I'd let him take over Sunderland, but that's it. Nobody else. I couldn't allow that sort of torture to go on, because yeah, absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. I still maintain that I don't care who it is. It just needs to be somebody else who isn't Steve Bruce, because the man is clueless and inept. And there is good quality candidates out there who would comb your wild days. I know he had a difficult season this season with Sheffield United, but look at the way he galvanised the club previously and what he did in the Premier League last season. There's Eddie Howe, who again did good stuff with a small budget against the odds, and kept their heads above water for many, many years down at Bournemouth. So there's two straight away, and you don't know what other changes could be happening towards the end of the season with current Premier League managers teetering towards the sack for a lot better of a record than what Bruce has got at Newcastle, mind. I'll give you that. But yeah, back to Newcastle. And a little bit of contract news today, and I was surprised. I really was. First of all, obviously I thought that Lee Charnley had furloughed himself, hence why we had heard nothing from the mouse-shaped sidekick of Danger Mouse, even. Yeah, we've heard nothing from him, have we? Despite the old, well, I want to communicate more this year, I'll promise you that. I'll definitely promise you that. And obviously, as soon as Lee Charnley's mouth does move, you know that it is complete and utter lies and bullshit that's coming out of it. But yeah, it looks like he has been busy on the contract front. Now, whether this is at last a bit of forward thinking, but forward thinking about failure in relegation. But Dwight Gale, we'll start this one off. Dwight Gale on a 3-year contract. A player, a striker, who was played as a midfielder recently, who can't get the look in, who's got what, about 2 starts this season, is getting a 3-year contract extension on reduced money, it must be said. That's 30-year-old Dwight Gale getting an extension. Bearing in mind, Solomon Rondon at 29, after a stellar season, scoring goals for Newcastle, working well in that particular system, available for what, 14-15 million pound, was too old, and we went for Joe Linton instead. It beggars belief. There's no common sense in Newcastle. I'm not having anybody who says it's logical. It's left field, it's weird. The only thing you can really say is that if we do go down to the Championship, which I think is pretty much certain at this point, then you've got a player there in Dwight Gale who can and who will score the goals needed to be in contention. I'm not saying, you know, at the top or whatever, but he's certainly good enough to be able to score you a decent amount of goals up top next season to push us towards the top of the Championship for a return to the Premier League. So there's that on one side of the equation. The other half of us thinks, because it's Mike Ashley, is it to do with the resale? Is it to protect the asset so that they can demand a transfer fee off a club in the Championship next season for Dwight Gale? And I wouldn't be surprised either which way, but I suppose in our situation with numbers as low as they are and this, that and the other, beggars can't be choosers, and it may provide a little bit of a spark, a little bit of a perk me up with regards to Dwight Gale. And who knows, if we get some decent performances out of Dwight Gale, a couple of goals, it might be enough to help keep us up and in the league. So yeah, there's also rumours today about Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll getting a 1-year contract extension and then a view to the coaching role afterwards. His family is settled up, he doesn't want to move his family, he's happy with his situation. He has stayed fit for the majority of this season, which was the big critique that I think most fans had about him. He has scored just the 1 goal since his return. He is nowhere near the calibre of player that we had from Andy Carroll back in his first stint. And he's so rarely used by Steve Bruce, it does beg a belief. But you know, as with Dwight Gale with a resale value, I don't think you get that with Andy Carroll. I think he's a squad option. Again, if you go to the Championship, which is a physical, aggressive, demanding league, his style of play, his hold-up play, his extra body could be absolutely critical in the same way that Leon Best was when we were down there previously. Apologies about the light. I think much I can do about that at the moment. And that takes us on to Fabian Schär, however you want to pronounce it. He has been injured, unfortunately. A 1-year extension for that man there. You know, end of the day, when I don't know, Rafa, he's mentioning Rafa again. But when we had Rafa Benitez, he was valued at a 20 to 30 million pound player, and Tottenham was seriously sniffing around him. And they were really, really interested in taking him. So if we're in the Championship or if we stay in the Premier League, I still think it's a very, 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 very good option. He is a quality player on his day, and he can play those Hollywood balls, as John Joe likes to put them, but he's got a lot more to his game than just the one trick that John Joe's got. So yeah, great to see Fabian Schär get a deal. I was worried because of his injury. I thought, is that the last time we're going to see Fabian Schär in a Newcastle shirt? But it appears to be not the case. Again, whether that's just to protect value, it well could be. You just don't know, do you, Ashley, the way that his devious, sick little twisted fucking dark mind works. It could well be, but I hope it's for footballing reasons and footballing reasons only. And that takes us on to another player. Again, strong rumours about Jacob Murphy getting a 3-year contract extension. Now, he's been impactful when he's come on. He's set goals up. He's struck the woodwork. He's had pace. Some of the games he started, he's not particularly done great in. I thought the loan to Sheffield Wednesday did him lots of favours, if I'm being honest. But a 3-year contract for a player who pretty much sits on the bench. Again, are we starting to think and prepare for the Championship, thinking that he will be a good, solid player in the Championship? Who's going to be able to offer us, flexibility, pace, skill, assists, a few goals. I know people who are Wednesday supporters, and they were really pleased with him. So obviously, if we played in that league next season, it could be a great advantage for Newcastle to have Jacob Murphy in there. If not, again, it comes down to the old adage, and you think, is he doing it to protect an asset? Will he look to move him on and try and make a few £1 million to be able to reinvest in the squad? Because at the end of the day, we spent a lot of money on him, and at this stage, we haven't had anything else really back off him much. So is it a case of, well, let's try and get something, whether it's a resale value on or a player in the Championship? It will be a squad player, come in, come out, offer something different, and have that crucial pace that you need to be able to make the difference in tight games down in the second tier. So let me know what you think down below. Lots of shenanigans, lots of things that the club seem to be up to at the moment. I don't trust the people who run the club as far as I could throw the bastards. So I am a little bit waiting to see what the game is, because I just can't. Can you imagine Fabian Schär in the Championship? Because I can't. Yes, I can see Gale. Yes, I can see Murphy. Carroll makes sense, I suppose, an extra body. But the likes of Fabian Schär, I just can't. It's as unlikely as having Alan Saint-Maximin or Miguel Almiron down in the second fight. It isn't. I just can't see it. But let me know what you think down below. And with regards to the Big Bruce survey as well, were you one of those 5%? And if you are, message me. I'm more than willing to help you see the light. No, it's got to be Mackems, hasn't it? It's got to be Mackems at the end of the day with that 5%. There's no doubt about it. Anyway, hope you're A-OK, fit and well. Take care, keep it tuned, and I will speak to you later.